Yeah. We in the building, man. Top Flight TV, Mr. Top Flight Films. We in the building today with the Leather Jacket Assassin. How you
Yes,
doing,
sir.
man?
I'm good, man. How about yourself?
I can't complain, brother. I'm glad to have you in the building. I've been watching all the movement, watching everything that you've been doing, watching the progression,
Thank you.
watching the elevation, man, and it's a great pleasure to have you in on the set with us, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. So we just gonna start it off from the top, man. Where you from, bro?
Originally, I'm from Virginia. I grew up in Texas, in the Dallas area. Right now, I currently reside in West Virginia. So
Okay,
West Virginia is where I'm at.
okay. So, what's it like moving around all these cities, man? What's your favorite city?
Man, favorite city? I don't know. I might be kind of biased. Like I love Texas, so Dallas. I mean, not even just Dallas,
Yeah.
but there's so many around it. You know, you got Austin, Houston, San Antonio. I really love Texas. Outside of that, I spent a lot of time in North Carolina. I used to be in the military, so you know, what I mean, back and forth from Fayetteville to Raleigh. But favorite places to visit, of course, back down there in Dallas. Been to Atlanta a few times. That's a real cool spot.
Yeah.
Nice people down there. Been to New York a couple times, but I really like visiting Atlanta. You know what I mean? Especially for the music scene. It's really dope.
Yes, indeed. All right, man. So, it's a question I like to ask a lot of our guests. What was the first album, hip hop, more specifically? What was the first hip hop album that you purchased, man?
That I purchased back in the day that I bought was a tape. It's LL Cool J's "I'm Bad." Yeah, back in the day.
Okay. He was a big LL fan.
Yeah, man, like he's very inspirational. You know what I mean? I just liked his energy, liked the way he moved. You know what I mean? Just the attention that he was getting. It was cool, man. And he's just his presence in live performances was crazy.
Yeah. Nah, absolutely. I see LL just dropped a new joint after all these years, man. He's still doing it. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
That's inspirational to see because they try to cap us off, as hip hop artists or people even in hip hop. They try to cap us off at a certain age, man. So it's good to see him come back out and do his thing. What do you think this whole age thing in hip hop stems from? I know they say it's a young man sport.
Yeah.
What's your take on that, man?
I mean, really, it's a perception. I really feel like it's a perception. Even I fell into that. You know what I mean? Even trying to get into this music thing, I was a little hesitant. I second guessed myself, but I think it's like perception. You know what I mean? The history of hip hop, it's always been like younger people gradually turning older. Some of them back in the day just kind of dropped off. But then, like, you know what I mean? You see other artists, you know, paying homage to some of the greats and they come back out. Nowadays, you got some of the artists that we grew up with, they still doing it. So I really feel like it's a perception. Um, I mean, right now, you know what I mean? Younger generation, they doing their thing, but you know what I mean? You got the ones that was already established, they still out here working. You know what I mean? And that's part of the reason why I'm out here trying to do my thing because the ones that inspired me, they still doing it. So I'm like, why not?
Indeed. Yeah, man. So, I know, but tell the people, man, that how you got into because you used to be an artist.
Yes.
Tell the people how you got into rapping, man.
Oh man. Yeah, I used to rap a little bit. Uh, I've always been into music, like for as long as I can remember. I started writing when I was 12, you know, off and on, and then in high school I played around with it a little bit. But early 2000s, I actually started recording myself a little bit. Uh, Rap for me was good. It was kind of like an escape. You know what I mean? It's always a great form of expression, but I didn't push it or take it as serious as others. Again, it was just like an expression for me. It was like an escape. I've always wanted to be behind the music. That was always my thing. You know, I dabbled with beat making and producing back then, but using software programs and all that, it was kind of hard for me to translate what I had up in here onto that computer, you know, and later on is when I eventually moved into something else.
Okay. So you said moved into something else, man. What was it like when you first decided to say, fuck it, man, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go ahead and get this beat machine and I'm going to be a producer?
As I said, I've always been into music, but what really did it for me was I decided to invest in myself. That was it. That was a thing back in the day. You know, picked up Source magazine or one of these other magazines. Producers back then was kind of like hidden. You didn't see a lot of them, but when you did, you saw them in those magazines, and a lot of them had these machines. Most of them MPCs, some of them Rollins, whatever. The ones that inspired me was using MPCs, but back then, you paying $2,000 or better for one of that. I was afraid to spend that kind of money. So one day, I think it was 2019, I started looking at MPCs again because there was a new one coming out, the MPC Live at the time. And I found one on eBay, a used one, for a pretty good price. I hit the man up. He was in Atlanta, and I was so excited about the purchase. I didn't want him to send it. I just decided to drive down there and pick it up myself. And then I brought it home. But when I brought it home, I, messed around with it for probably a couple hours, and then I just kind of sat on it. Didn't touch it for a while. So it wasn't until basically the height of COVID is when everything started rolling. I got furloughed from one of my jobs, sat down with that thing, opened it up again, and really took the time to really learn it. There's a lot of buttons, a lot of features, a lot of things can seem overwhelming. You know what I mean? You really got to put some time in. But once I felt like I had it, like I knew what I was doing, it's like I couldn't stop.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it was on from there.
Absolutely. So bam, you finally open that box. You got to work. Your first beat, man. Tell me about your first beat.
Man. First beat, I still got that somewhere. I haven't thrown away nothing. My first beat, I was excited about it.
Yeah.
But it was shitty, you know what I mean? I mean, I'll keep it real.
Yeah.
Most I don't know nobody gonna make their first beat in this, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But once I learned how to do like the sample thing on there and found like a drum set of drums that I was comfortable with and I liked, it was all right, you know what I mean? For the most part, I was proud that at that moment that I could put it together, that I was learning the MPC, but looking back on it, it's silly. The concept is all right, but it ain't it, you know what I mean? But I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. We all got to start somewhere, man.
That's right. You just got to start, you know what I mean?
So you start putting that thing in motion, man. And how did you come up with the name Leather Jacket Assassin?
It just kind of happened. Just kind of flowed off the tongue. Like one day, I was sitting around making beats, you know what I mean? And one of the things while making beats, I was just trying to come up with a producer name, you know what I mean? I used to do the rap thing, and the rap name that I had, it just wasn't going to go well with producing, not with what I was trying to achieve, not with the sound that I was trying to achieve. And a lot of times when I'm producing, I got something in the background. It might be a TV show or movies, but that day I was watching movies. So Leather Jacket Assassin comes from films, action films specifically. So a lot of action films, when you watch them, there'll be some sort of badass, you know what I mean, a henchman, a hero, or a villain. A lot of them wearing leather jackets, and they're killers. So it just kind of made sense. So I just, you know what I mean, came up with Leather Jacket Assassin. And Leather Jacket Assassin is more like a metaphor for that sound. You know what I mean? That toughness, that hard, you know what I mean, killer shit. Nothing but bars on that. Yeah.
You ever dabbled in trap? Trap beats?
I tried it, you know what I mean? Because for a time, when I first started producing, I thought that that's something I had to do to keep up with everybody else. And let me tell you, like, I've tried it, but my heart wasn't in it. And because my heart's not in it, the beats don't come out so well. So when I started concentrating more on the sound that I was inspired by, the sound that I wanted to make, it's like they came out crazy. So I decided to let go of that other stuff and just concentrate on making the music that I want to make. And that's very important. You know what I mean? You ain't got to be out here trying to do what everybody else is doing. Do what you love, do what you feel.
Right.
Yeah.
That's funny you say that because I always equate it to like food, like cooking, right? They say you know, when your mother or your grandmother puts love into the food, when she puts love into her cooking and she cooks it with love, you can taste it. So I equate that to my videos, dog. Like most videos I put my heart into.
Yeah.
And it's really from the heart. Especially the ones the songs that I love. You know what I mean? So it's like you can tell when that product gets put out there, you can just see and feel what was put in the heart and soul that was put into it.
And that's important. Yeah. That's important, man. Because like when you transfer that energy into your work, it's gonna carry over, man. People, they gonna reciprocate that. You know what I mean? They're gonna feel that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's important. People can tell if you ain't put a lot of time and effort into something.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
They just can't.
Okay, so boom. Now you're Leather Jacket Assassin. What next, man? You did your first beat. Now it's time to practice. Now it's time to hit that room every night and keep going and keep putting beats together, right? So what do you do when you finally have some good beats that you feel is presentable, that you want to present to other artists?
Next step is just get out there. It took me a minute to get comfortable with what I was making. I didn't want to just, you know what I mean? I've been guilty of doing this before. You know, as soon as you do something, you want to hurry up and get it out there. But in the later years of me doing this music thing, especially with production, I decided to take my time. So when I got comfortable with what I had, I stumbled across a live beat review with Bolo, the producer, on YouTube. It's like a multi-platinum producer and happens to be one of my biggest supporters right now. So shout out to him for that. But I actually stumbled across his videos trying to learn how to use the MPC. He had tutorials on there, but he started a live beat review for up-and-coming producers, aspiring producers, you know, stuff like that. So I signed up one day and got on, and you know what I mean, after that it was just a repetitive thing for as often I should say as I could. Yeah.
So that review was that the indicator to say, all right, I'm ready to present this to the world, man.
Actually, yeah. And I was nervous as hell. I ain't gonna cap on that. Like, you know what I mean? This guy is based out of Atlanta. When watching that beat review, a lot of those beats were beats of today, you know, like the drill, the trap, you know what I mean, stuff like that. So I was like, damn, stuff I'm making, you know what I mean, more traditional, how's it gonna be accepted? But as I sat on the couch waiting for him to play my beats, like nervous as hell, you know, because he got the comments on the side. So, you know what I mean? People commenting and everything. So I'm like, man, they going to shit on me. So, but he played that beat. He was like, yo, what is this? You know what I mean? Like when he heard what I sent up, it was like a breath of fresh air for him. It was like a break from the norm. And it's like, That's what he talked about like a couple times that night. And it was that night I knew I had something. So after that, I was like, okay, I got to keep going. You know what I mean? That was it right there.
Yeah. So what was in the midst of starting off and learning, what were some of the challenges you faced besides just like, having to learn? Was there any other challenges you faced learning to produce and make beats?
Um, Nothing real serious. Of course, there's gonna be some challenges, but you gotta be willing to invest. You know what I mean? I think you and I talked about that before. So investing in yourself, investing in what you want to do, and with producing and beat making, along with that, you get your equipment. But you know what I mean? You gotta invest in sounds. That was one of the things in the beginning. We talked about my first beat. My first beat has that concept, but not necessarily that sound. But when I had that sound that I was looking for, man, it's a hell of a difference. So it was always there, man. So like, you just gotta collect sounds. You always gotta be collecting. Don't be stuck on what you just have. You know what I mean? And then just getting out there traveling. You know what I mean? Just set stuff aside, money aside for you to travel. It's not hard. The only challenges really for something like that is only setback that could happen is you, really. You know what I mean? It's just you.
Nah, absolutely. You talked about investing, man. Hey, tell the upcoming beat makers, artists, entrepreneurs, anybody that's trying to do something on a grand scale. Talk about the importance of biting the bullet and investing in your brand.
Investing is very important. And if it's something you really love, you truly love, you have a passion for, you gonna do it. But it's very important. Sometimes that's what holds people back. Back in the day, that's what held me back. You know what I mean? I spent years taking care of my family, doing the right thing, working my job, but just one day I really want to do what I wanted to love. And it costs money. You know what I mean? This thing we do, it's not gonna pay right away. Not everybody gonna see what you see, but you gotta invest in yourself. The equipment, you gotta invest the time, you gotta invest in sounds, you gotta invest in networking. There's all kinds of things because just sitting down and making music, that's the easy part. You know what I mean? But it's work. You know what I mean? You got invest time for content, all that. So anybody who's just getting started, you got to invest time. You got to invest some money in your equipment. It don't have to be too crazy. You ain't got to have like a $10,000 studio. If you're on my IG, you see my IG, everything I do is out my basement. You know what I mean? The equipment that I have present, it costs a little bit of money, but not as much as most. I think my little setup is probably under $5,000. You know what I mean?
Nice. Yeah, so the reason I asked you that is because a lot of people just feel like, they could take the proceeds and take the monies they may have and spend it on the trinkets, spend it on the reward. They want the reward without the work, man. And yeah.
I definitely want to say something about that. Because we talked about age. In a way, in a big way, I'm glad I ain't really do this type of stuff a few years ago in my younger ages. Right now, I'm at that age where, like, you know what I mean, a lot of that stuff don't matter to me because I love this so much. The way I'm received and certain milestones I've been hitting is really good payment enough. You know what I mean? Eventually, I might get a little something, but there's things I want to do now. I'm at that age now. I'm a homeowner. So the money that I'm bringing in, that's going towards the crib.
Yeah.
Get that house paid off. Because I'm going to tell you, these days, boy, it's crazy. You know how much money I'm going to save not paying a mortgage, bro? You know what I'm saying? So After that, then maybe I'll get, you know what I mean, nice car. Maybe I'll get a chain, you know what I mean? But right now, money I'm making, you know what I mean, it's not a lot right now, but the money I'm making is going back into sounds, back into the music, really. You know what I mean? Later on, save up some stuff or features or whatever. Just trying to build. You know what I mean? Guys that's going out here getting their tattoos and their chains and cars. Okay, I get it. But like, you know what I mean, what you doing for the longevity? That, you know what I mean? Like, are you thinking about that? It's not to shit on nobody. I'm just asking a question. Yeah.
How the business of beat making and producing works. If I want a beat from Leather Jacket Assassin, right, and I want to purchase a beat from you, how do we go about this?
Through emails. Normally what I do right now, there's different ways to do it. Some people got they stuff set up through distribution like, you know, BeatStars, DistroKid, TuneCore, whatever, and they got paperwork too. They got what you call, you know, these agreement sheets and all that. You could do it that way. A lot of people that I chop it up with, especially closely, you know what I mean? I'm in the building stages and I like to do things organically. So for me, you know what I mean, if we sat down and, you know what I mean, I feel like what you doing can benefit me and vice versa. We can always sit down and do something. I'm gonna send you an email, you know what I mean? And then we could talk about the money afterwards.
Right.
You know what I mean? But there's different ways to go about it. You know what I mean? But that's another thing. You out here doing this, you gotta know a few things. Again, I'm still navigating through this, but you definitely got to know the side of business. Most people ain't paying attention to that because again, the music's the easy part. You know what I mean? It's the other stuff you gotta worry about. Yeah.
So okay, so you send a beat out, man. How do you protect your asset? How do you protect your intellectual property, man? Is there contracts? Even just producers in general. How would y'all go about protecting what you made, your art, and if an artist runs off with your beat or tries to duplicate it, what's in place to keep you protected?
Emails, bro. Emails is a huge thing. Messages, you know what I mean, that paper trail. But more so like the moment that you make a beat and you mix it down, bust it down, and email it out. Like when it comes from your machine, like that is your composition. That's your composition.
Okay.
So you can get paid off of that. There's agreements like, you know what I mean, if you're collabing with another producer or artist, you know what I mean, you do these split sheets, it's agreements.
Okay.
Again, some of these distribution websites that do that, they might have the paperwork included. So that's a way to protect yourself. But I feel like if you are doing stuff with, you know what I mean, other people, you definitely want to keep those messages, those emails. I've heard stories. I haven't really had anything like that personally happen to me. I haven't heard any of my stuff like people running off with it. But I did look into that when I was learning some of the business side of ways to, you know what I mean, protect yourself, like emails, you know what I mean, split sheets, ways to protect yourself. But basically, when you make something, it comes from you, you know what I mean, that's your composition. That's actually like a writer's composition. That's a way to get paid. You know what I mean? That's like a right for you.
Absolutely. Hell yeah. All right, man. Natural Born Killaz, man. Let's see the hoodie. Show us the hoodie, bro.
Yes, sir.
That's a dope hoodie.
On the back too.
Oh, that's how.
You can see that.
Yeah.
We get a shot of that later.
Yeah.
But Natural Born Killaz, it's three of us. The name itself come from the people involved. Nature Boy, artist in the DMV area. Another one.
Shout out to Nature Boy, man.
Yes,
He
sir.
doing his thing, man.
Born Supreme, really dope artist, man. It's like I'm a fan of both of them. And then myself, Leather Jacket Assassin. NBK, Natural Born Killaz, is a collective which actually was born from a producer open mic event. You know what I mean? I try to tell people networking is very important. And Natural Born Killaz came from networking, basically. But Natural Born Killaz is an EP, that traditional hip hop, that gritty sound. You know what I mean? If you're a fan of that, I encourage you to check it out. It's completely produced by me. It's my first real body of work. Production is crazy. 6 songs, runs about 15 minutes long. We got different sounds on there. You know what I mean? The cadences is crazy. The bars are crazy. The beats are crazy. I guarantee you, if you like traditional hip hop, you like that boom bap, you're gonna love Natural Born Killaz. And if you looking for that, it's not on streaming platforms right now. You can only find it on natureboymusic.com. Go to natureboymusic.com, scroll down, you'll see it down there. You can pay what you want, pay what you think it's worth. You know what I mean? Support hip hop, support culture, buy art, cop you some merch.
That's dope. Pay what you want.
Yeah.
I seen RJ Payne, man. He's not streaming his stuff on the regular DSPs either. Why did y'all opt out from doing that and y'all went the website route? Is there any specific reason?
We talked about it. Basically, eventually we're gonna move to that. But what we're doing right now is we want to see who the real fans are. We want to see who the hip hop heads are. We want to see where the real love is coming from. You know what I mean? And then we want to give back to those people. That's why we did it this way. Natural Born Killaz has been out for a week at this point.
Okay. Just dropped. All right.
Just dropped. It's only been out for about a week at this point. But within 3 or 4 days, the money that we made in just 3 or 4 days was probably about 200,000 streams that we would have had. You know what I mean? So like, imagine if we just did the streaming route right now. You know what I mean? Nature Boy got a name. Born Supreme got a name. You know, I'm still building. But I can just imagine if we went that route, it might take us a month, maybe 2, to get 200,000. I don't know. But to me, that's amazing. And it's nothing but love. Like, we all appreciate that. So,
Indeed.
yeah, man.
Yeah, so as I've been watching you, man, I've been seeing that I didn't know producers had this like this network, these events where they meet up and do like producer type stuff, man. I've been seeing you networking, moving around, going to different events, man. Tell me about some of these events that you've been going to, man.
So, first one was basically online, which I still frequently visit. That's a live beat review.
Okay.
And everybody, you know what I mean?
Where is that? That's online, okay.
That's online, YouTube, through Bolo the producer. In person, I've gone to 3 events in Atlanta for Iron Fist Cookup, which is hosted by DJ Hadouken. Shout out to him, man. He's a real good dude. He brings in the tastemakers, like industry artists. And you come in and you play beats in front of these industry producers. And they'll give you their little critiques or guidance or whatever. You know what I mean? If you need work, if you don't need work. A lot of times, you know, I've been in the room, people walked out with sold beats already. Or, you know what I mean, they was ready to get signed right after the session. Wow. You know what I'm saying? So these events are important. And not to mention, in between that time while you're waiting, you got other producers you could be collabing with. Artists come too, you know what I mean? Because they looking for beats. So you never know who you're going to run into. You know what I mean? I've had the pleasure to play my beats in front of some talented people who's in the game, and they drop game to me. You know what I'm saying? So that much I'm very appreciative of.
Say some names, man. Who?
Man, K Major, Beat Billionaire, DJ Burn One, DJ Activated. Man, it's just so many. More recently, Check on the Beat, Sauce Lord, DigiNorm. You know what I'm saying? These are some of the producers that's got some real credibility, man, and they telling me that I'm dope. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's a good feeling.
Absolutely.
But you know what I'm saying? You never gonna know that unless you get out there. You know, you might think you dope, and you are, but you never really gonna know until you get out there. So that's why that's important. Networking and traveling is very important, because just making beats and being dope by yourself it's not enough.
What's the difference between online networking and in-person networking? To you.
To me, not much difference, but I feel like it's better in person when it's more organic. You know what I mean? That's something, maybe I'm just old fashioned, but I feel like, you know what I mean, a lot of people is missing that. The age that we live in now, yeah, everything is like electronically, you know, social media, emails, but I still like meeting up with people. You know what I mean? I recently locked in with one of the artists from BSF,
Okay.
El Camino. You know what I mean? We got some work, but he got a show, and I hit him up because I wanted to formally introduce myself. I wanted to meet him in person, because that's like, you know what I mean, the type of thing I want to do. But I'm not going to be able to make that, but like, I feel like that's important, you know what I mean, for the artist too, you know what I mean, because shows them like, you know what I mean, you really care about this, you know what I'm saying, just coming up to take the time to do that. So yeah, I feel like, me personally, in person is better, but as far as differences between networking online and in person, it's pretty much the same. I just feel like it's better in person.
I know what in person, man, people can actually connect with your personality and
Exactly.
vibe. And a lot of times, man, some people they will gravitate towards you and your personality before they gravitate towards the product. And they can just rock with your personality, and then
That's
the product
facts.
comes secondary. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's big facts, and that's another thing, man. Like, it's like whatever vibe you get off that person. You know what I mean? There's there's some dope people out there, but like, just based off their personality, like, I probably wouldn't want to mess with them. You know what I'm saying? And that's not taken away from what they doing,
Right.
but like, you know what I mean? Like, if I don't feel like your personality isn't that great, you know what I mean, maybe I might have to turn you down, or just, you know what I mean, even if we ain't really do something, I'm not even going to approach you. I respect what you do, but you know.
Oh yeah. So let me ask you. You know, sometimes, a lot of times, especially in my past, man, I'm on the scene, right? Where it's big names in the room, right? It's you know, it's the big guys in the room, right? What do you think about these circles, man? Have you ever felt like, I know for me, man, I felt like, man, you know what, dog, I don't even really want to be deep within these circles. Being at these events, is there any groupie behavior going on? I know, you know, a lot of stuff that I've done, it's been so much groupie stuff, so much favoritism, so much ass kissing.
Yeah.
Is it like that in the producer arena too?
I'm pretty sure, like, I haven't actually witnessed it myself, but I'm pretty sure, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's always somebody trying to get on, you know what I mean? But I never felt like I had to be like that.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like, my man said it the best, like, and I believe this too. It helps me a lot when I remember this. If you dope, you ain't gotta worry about somebody trying to find. They gonna find you. You know what I mean? You ain't gotta worry about you trying to get to them. they're gonna find you. You know what I mean? So I feel like if the time is right, if everything aligns right, you know what I mean, it'll happen. You know what I mean? I've seen some big people in the room. You know what I mean? I approach them, introduce myself, or tell them, I like your work or whatever. That's as far as it goes. I ain't trying to get too close. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's still work for them. You know what I mean? So I don't be like that, man. I just, it's either yes or no. Like if I say, hey, can I send you a pack? It's either yes or no.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Indeed. So who give me your favorite producer currently in the 2024, and then give me your favorite producer, a old school producer, what we would consider old school, or somebody that was, back in the day, man.
Okay, absolutely. Man, right? There's so many, right? So many. But right now, especially that's very inspirational for me. Some of the newer ones, I would say, Future Wave, Derringer, Conductor Williams. You know what I mean? Just to name a few. And some of these guys are producing for the guys that, you know what I mean, I'm inspired by, such as Griselda, those guys from Griselda, you know what I mean, with Benny the Butcher and them, like just the sounds that they make. There's another guy from Canada, Danielson, you know what I mean, Future Wave and him, they got some stuff, you know what I mean, it's very, very dope music. Old school producers, there's a lot more of them. I'm inspired by so many, but the one I'm most inspired by, and even still working today, is The Alchemist. You know what I mean? He was doing it back then. You know what I mean? His mentor was DJ Muggs. I love DJ Muggs. I just love that dark, gritty sound. He wasn't the only one. You know what I mean? Havoc from Mobb Deep. You know what I'm saying? RZA. Those are some of them guys those were the ones that inspire me. I like that hoodie shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So let me ask you, what artists, if you had a chance or a choice right now, would you want to hear rhyming over one of your productions?
Man, I'd have to say there's a few, but one of the ones when I first started this, when I was looking up, you know what I mean, like the whole new era of the boom bap scene was Rome Streets. When I came across him, watched some of his videos, listened to his joints, I was like, yo, some of my beats that I've done, like I could hear him easily on that shit. So like I've met him, took a picture with him and everything, talked to him for a little bit. One day I'd like to get him on one of my tracks. You know what I'm saying? Maybe even a feature or something. Yeah, Rome Streets, man, he got those bars where he bounces over the tracks. I love it. I love lyricism. You know what I mean? Anybody with that, I love lyrics. Yeah.
So speaking of lyrics, man, I mean, I just want to get your opinion on this, because somewhere along the line, these lines have gotten blurred. Okay, what do you feel about rappers having ghostwriters?
Man.
And I'm not saying like to help write songs,
Yeah.
because we know that's cool. Somebody want to get help writing a hit song. I'm talking about actually writing their lyrics for them.
I'll put it like this. Everybody got a team. You can't be successful by yourself, right? But there is what is viewed as, it's not viewed as high when you have somebody that's doing that. But at the same time, you know what I mean, whoever is writing it might not be able to deliver it the same way as the artist. So I feel like, you know what I mean, I'm not a big fan of it, because if you a rapper, that should be one of the biggest things. You should know how to write. You should know how to write and how to deliver. I feel like if you already know how to do that, you know what I mean? I don't see nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean? Everybody, like I said, has to have a team. But if you just the front man and you don't know nothing, like, I don't know, man, you might not supposed to be there. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I don't really look at it as terrible because again, not everybody succeeds on their own solely alone.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Indeed, indeed. That's another question I like to ask a lot, man. Just to weigh in, get everybody's opinion. What is your views on the current state of rap hip hop?
It's crazy. You know what I mean? It's definitely changed. But right now I feel like rap, hip hop, man, everything is just so quick. You know what I mean? People record it, bust it out, just boom. You know what I mean? That seems to be the thing. And a lot of people ain't even really putting out albums like that. They just doing single deals and all that. But and the sound of course is different. But what I've noticed, you know, being around and listening for this long, and anybody else may agree, you know, hip hop is like a circle. You know what I mean? Eventually it's gonna come back to something else. All this stuff now might not last that long. All this, you know, stripper pole stuff, club stuff, you know what I mean? Like it's all right, you know what I mean, if you out there doing it. It's not my thing. A lot of times, no disrespect to none of them, because a lot of them doing their thing, they push numbers. But I'll be sleep when it come to that. I'm so locked in on what I'm doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But you can't knock it. But I mean, the real question is like, how long would they last? Somebody who's doing that type of stuff now, what do they got, you know, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? You know what I'm saying? Are they even thinking about that?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. See how like MC Light, man, she can come out at 60 years old
Yeah.
and she can still perform her records.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a damn shame with Cardi, Meg,
Come on now.
and
I,
Sexy
lo- I
Red.
love them, but you know, I love them and respect them as artists. But like real shit, you know, what's it gonna look like?
What's it gonna look like when you 60 years old talking about the things that you talking about?
Yeah, like talking about now, like your hit records now. What's that gonna look like? Oh man, that's a crazy thing.
And shout out to them, because I ain't gonna front. The ladies have really stepped it up.
Man,
They are really running shit.
I love to see it.
And I love to see it too. But I know as in hip hop, we always had a balance. You know what I'm saying? Back in, say 98, we had Lil Kim, Foxy Brown, but we also had Lauryn Hill. We also had different. It was a balance on the radio.
Yeah, when
You know
you
what I'm
heard
saying?
them, you knew it was them.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
indeed,
saying?
indeed. And you had back in '98 in that era, man. You had Puff over here. You had the gritty sound over here. You had all kind of different flavors, man. Today, it's really only one kind of hip hop being promoted. I don't even want to call it hip hop. There's only one kind of rap that's being promoted. I just want to get your perspective. How do you think we got here?
Man,
Is it greed, dog? Is it
I think
the corporations?
I feel like it's that. I feel like it's a money thing. You know what I mean? Okay, it's a business, right? So businesses are going to gravitate and try to grab from the consumers to what they like. They're going to cater to what they like. So whatever's popular right now, like what these artists is talking now, what these artists are showing now, like all that, that's what's popular. That's what's bringing in numbers, you know, especially with these labels, you know, with artists who have that backing. So they're going to go to what is going to put those people in the seats, what's going to bring those numbers up. You know what I mean? 3 years from now, it could be a different thing. You know what I mean? I don't worry about being popular like that. I love hip hop. I love rap. I love the culture. So I stick to that. You know what I mean? I'm okay with being in the background. I never really wanted to be the front man. Like I said, I used to rap, but that was never really for me. I always wanted to be behind the scenes.
Right.
But I feel like right now it's more of a business thing. It's for money. You know what I mean? Everybody want to get paid, so some of these people falling in line with it. You know what I mean? And that's cool. But I hope they saving. You know what I'm saying? Because it's probably not gonna last that long. Everything's always changing. Like I said, like everything go in a circle. What I'm doing is not new, right? It's always been around. And there's others doing it, of course. But what happens when that circle come back around? And now I'm on top of you. You ain't say no money or nothing. You know what I mean? Just saying.
Real talk. It's a beat maker. Matter of fact, it's a lot of beat makers. A lot of beat makers, a lot of artists, but specifically producers and beat makers. What was some advice you would give somebody just starting or that's been doing it for a minute, trying to progress? What is some advice that you would give?
Number one, don't be afraid to invest in yourself. Number two, you definitely want to invest time in learning the craft. Don't be in such a hurry to put your stuff out there, put your work out there as soon as you feel like you got it. It's okay to, but don't be in a rush. I also want to say, whatever sound you're going for, study the ones you're inspired by. Everything's been done already. So it's not you. Everybody's going. Someone going to say you sound like so and so, but I mean, really, that's flattery. You know what I'm saying? Just know you're on the right track for that. Just do a little something that kind of creates your own sound, creates, who you are, so you can compete but still stand out from the others. Another thing is, you're gonna have to travel. Don't be a basement producer or a beat maker just because you think it's dope, just because your friends think it's dope. That's a start. But you got to get out there. You got to get in front of people who are really doing it. You know what I'm saying? That way you know you got something. Another thing, you got to network. Again, we've talked about this thing before. Like, you can be good all day. You could be posting all day. But if you ain't networking with anyone, you ain't reaching out, you ain't making those connections, you may or may not get too far. You know what I'm saying? If you are and you doing it from home alone, you know what I mean? You need to DM me because I need to know what your cheat code is. You know what I'm saying? But it's very important to get out there. If you just starting out, invest in your equipment, learn the craft, invest in the time, get out there and network. Got to.
Absolutely. Hey, man, tell the people where they can find you.
Absolutely, man. Leather Jacket Assassin. I'm most active on IG. You find me over there at LEATHA Jacket Assassin. It's all one word. Leather Jacket Assassin. I got YouTube. I'm going to start uploading more content on YouTube. Probably switch over to TikTok or something like that. But right now, most active on IG. Every Friday, I'm dropping beat videos, release the beats. It's always more music to come. I'm always building.
Hell yeah. Hey, man, we appreciate you coming through, man.
Appreciate
Big shout out to you. Big shout out to NBK. We out of here, man.